And Rachel Tidd, who has a wild math and wild reading, also pointed out to me that she got started because her son was having a lot of behavioral issues at school. And then when he started, when he joined a forest school, it just all disappeared in an instant. So I'm
Yeah.
really kind of curious from a scientific perspective why this is happening, why it's just so good for focus to have that outdoor time.
I have read a lot of books that support that. Last Child in the Woods, I think that's the title of it, is a
Mm.
really good example of that. And they talk a lot in the book. He talks a lot in the book about um, how nature does help with attention and focus. And I can speak to my own experience as a teacher. I have had a lot of learners that were neurodivergent and several of them with ADHD and a lot of experience actually with that. And like I started out saying, of course, this isn't true of all ADHD learners, but I would say most of the ADHD learners that I've had experience with benefited greatly from time spent outdoors, unstructured time spent outdoors in particular.
Mm.
And, sometimes I would have students that weren't used to spending a lot of time outdoors, and it was a little hard for them in that first initial transition to get used to having unstructured time outside. But I think it's a lot of different things. I think it's just tuning into all the sensory input around you. And when you're visiting the same places frequently, you start to notice the slow and fast changes that are happening all around you all the time. And that is helping you to learn to pay attention, be detail oriented, paying attention to changes and patterns and cycles that are going on around you all the time. And being in nature, it's primed for that. There's stuff happening around you all the time on so many different levels. And so being in an
Mm.
environment where you're able to breathe, take in that air, feel the sun on you, watch these different things happening around you, notice when things have changed. It's priming all of your senses for that attention to detail and that focus. But it also is a natural environment to be able to break away from a focused activity. So, if we did a lesson outdoors, sometimes it felt like an exercise in futility because they would be so, like, engaged with everything going on around them that it sometimes felt like they weren't able to pay attention. But I did notice that even in those situations, their retention was higher than it would be in the classroom over those same subjects and topics that we were going over.